What is going on, FA Nation? John Bemba here with James Grande. Welcome into the Fantasy Alarm MLB DFS Playbook Live Show. We're here for the Wednesday 8-game main slate over on DraftKings. We had a 4-game day slate of baseball earlier on today. Hopefully you guys made some money building that bankroll for tonight. Playbook is live over on fantasyalarm.com. You can check that out for today. James, how we doing, man?
Doing great. And oh my God, John, I cannot believe that we were late for Dapper Dan in the chat. Dapper Dan, I'm so sorry to you.
I know. It's my fault. It was my fault. We're running a little bit behind today, but we're here. Only a couple of minutes.
Sorry, Dapper Dan. Sorry, dude.
Eric, we'll get the ownership posted for you right after today's show. So make sure you tune in for that. We'll have that updated for you guys. Waiting for the latest updates to come through, and we'll have that live on site for the main slate today. All right. Logan Webster, top price starting pitcher for today. We kind of went extensively into the pitching last night where we thought the chalk was going to be, and we weren't wrong, right? We kind of had an idea of the matchups that, we felt like the field would be looking to target. As usual, when you have teams like the Chicago White Sox and the Colorado Rockies on the slate, the pitchers in those games tend to draw ownership. So you have Logan Webb as your top guy. He's also the top highest rostered player. Then you got Festa and you got Lorenzen, and that's like with the 3 far and away highest rostered pitchers for today. Are you in the camp of using Webb plus a Festa or Lorenzen, or would you double value tier today with Festa and Lorenzen sort of in that mid-range?
Well, one, we need to definitely know how the weather's going to shake out in Kansas City, because that's, if we're talking weather, there is some there, not like anything that Kevin Roth of Roto Grinders is expecting to be concerning right now. But as he noted, he said, we'll circle back. So
yeah,
if the weather holds up, yeah, I mean, I think there's multiple avenues you can go. And even if you go to fantasyalarm.com, I'll show a little of Justin Carlucci's playbook here, and he kind of voiced the same concern as me with the Festa price specifically. That's the one thing that I struggled with last night, and I haven't not struggled with today. He is just not an $8,800 pitcher, and maybe the matchup will prove that theory incorrect. But I think like my primary target would be to spend up and then spend down to Lorenzen if the weather holds up.
Sure.
Because I'm just not totally sold on the Festa price tag more than anything.
Is it the lack of innings for Festa that's holding you back? Obviously, the pitch count, 76 pitches in his last start, 4 1/3, 4 2/3. Because, I mean, Detroit, New York, like those are obviously, the Mets, the tough matchups for opposing pitchers this season. He's held the walks down. The strikeouts have been like we've kind of been waiting for. He's a big strikeout guy during the minor leagues. Is it simply that at $8,800 you're getting a guy that might only go 5 innings today as the reason to avoid?
Yep, 100%. Because I think when you're spending that amount of money, I would rather just punt something else and spend and allocate the funds on my bats. Or spend up where I'm looking at Logan Webb, and Logan Webb is never in the last few years, more often than not, is getting through 6 innings more than he's not, right?
Yeah.
There are obviously some underlying numbers that don't look great for Festa. I'm not saying all of them. They mostly look good. The fly ball rate is pretty bad. Nothing on the ground, 29% ground ball rate. Hard hit rate is great. No ERA, but 3.9 xFIP, isn't the best.
Yeah, I mean, the xFIP obviously says it normalizes the home run to fly
ball. Yeah,
the
home run to 3.27 Sierra is pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, big discrepancy between a pitcher who hasn't allowed an earned run and his Sierra.
For me, it's it's the matchup because I on a whole I agree with you, right? Like if he gets to 85, say they go the 10 pitches, right? He went from 64 to 76. Say they let him go to 85 today.
Yep.
Well, if he shuts them out over 85 pitches and he goes 5 innings, maybe 5 1/3 or whatever, and gets a win, maybe another strikeout or two, you're still looking at a guy that's going to get you over 20 fantasy points here. And we've also been wrong on this before. I thought that Shane Baz was going to be limited on opening day based off his workload and injury history.
Right.
And Tampa Bay, of all teams, let him throw 96 pitches.
Right.
Now, again, we obviously have seen the sample size of him getting slowly ramped up here. But, yeah, I think if you look at the other pitchers on this slate, they all kind of have some warts. Mark put Heaney Fest in here. I like Andrew Heaney, what he's done this year. His peripheral numbers are proving out to be true as well, right? Like XFIP, Sierra, expected ERA, high strikeout rate. The walks aren't really there for him. The Angels against left-handed pitching have been really bad this year. Historically, though, the Angels, have some guys in their lineup that do well against left-handed pitching. They just got Zach Nato back. They have Luis Rengifo, Jorge Soler, Ward, Trout's hitting home runs. So, like, this feels like a potentially dangerous spot for Andrew Heaney, who's been really good this year. So, like you mentioned, going down to Lorenzen. If you played Bubic last night, that was the 100% call. 80% of the field was on the guy, and it paid off. But the rest of this group, there's scary matchups up and down the board. I know you've been an Erod guy. Are you looking at Erod today as a pivot off of Festa in that price range?
Yeah, I don't hate it because Erod has been good this year, right? And he's been, all the underlying stuff says he's even better than what his ERA suggests, and a lot of his stuff suggests. The strikeouts have obviously been the most, is this real part of Erod? Because hasn't been a big time strikeout arm since he's left Boston, which is many years ago. Like he has not been a Red Sox in a while. When he was like,
he was going to retire a couple of years ago, and he's with like the Tigers.
Right.
Like, we didn't know what was going to go on.
Right. And then he goes to Arizona. We didn't even see him for a lot. Like he's just, where's Erod? Like what's happening?
Remember he had no spring training and then came out and threw like 98 pitches.
Just immediately in the, but like, it's a really good spot. Like if you're talking about, it's almost equal, right? We view Tampa as a better team collectively than we view the White Sox. Obviously, the White Sox had the most losses ever last year, and they got worse. Their GM told us that, and then they did it.
We're going to be worse. It's like
how? Worse than the worst team ever. Okay, got it. At least last year's team will be the second worst team ever. Yeah. But Tampa against lefties, 24% strikeout rate, 614 OPS as a team, 100 ISO. Wilt Chamberlain ISO. Like you want two Wilt Chamberlain ISO, like to consider yourself a good offense. So all that, and you talk about it all the time. Tampa's whole lineup is lefties, and then their righties are bad. So they like. Why are they not just playing the lefties?
They willingly take out their good hitters to put bad righties in. Like it doesn't make any sense, but yeah.
And obviously the pitch count for Erod has been significantly better. Like if David Festa today, John, has one bad inning, long inning, he doesn't get you 5 innings. And I'm not saying you have to have the win points, but like that is a problem. Obviously, like that is obviously like just limits your upside at a guy who's you're paying a premium for. Like if he was 78, this is not even a discussion. If he was under 8K, it's not a discussion. But I personally am playing Erod over Festa. If that's the route, like I'm playing, to be clear, I'm playing Logan Webb over both those.
Yes.
Both of them. As my SP1. But like if you're double spending up, I'd go Erod over Festa. I'd probably even go Erod over Peralta in this spot. And I like your Heaney call. And then I'm, it's basically Lorenzen or bust for me and the rest of the pitching tier here.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's only 8 games. Last night I did kind of go in a little bit on the potential for German Marquez. I still think that there is a 1 of 20 lineup scenario for German Marquez, just given all of the struggles. I mean, listen, the Royals offense only mustered 1 run off of, Feltner last night. Marquez had that really good outing against Philadelphia and then kind of ran into a buzzsaw of a schedule with the Athletics in Coors and then the Padres and the Dodgers. So, yeah, these numbers aren't supposed to look good when you're running and you're an average pitcher at this point in his career against really, really good teams. I played the $5,200 Kyle Hart this afternoon, and he got me 14 fantasy points. Like,
right?
You give me that out of Mark. He didn't even go 5 innings. You give me that out of Marquez today, and you're winning at $5,300. So, I'm not ruling him out, man. I am not ruling out German Marquez today.
I am not sure you get 14 fantasy points out of German Marquez. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying. I mean,
so you don't have to believe. That's fine. I'm just saying that in the range of outcomes, we've seen it once already this year against Philadelphia. So it's not like he's been a complete garbage can the entire season. And then you look at his recent matchups.
Yes.
And Kansas City is towards the bottom of the league in like every statistical category.
Yeah, every category.
So, who knows? Yeah.
Look, I will give you that. In a situation that you're trying to jam bats, he makes the most sense out of like everyone else below Lorenzen.
Because I mean, the rest of the value is bad here. Like it's all bad. But like, right? Or like, what's your alternative play? Kahanowitz against Pittsburgh?
No, I mean it. Like I get it there too.
Our guy Marcus, he's in there. He's reading the Fangraphs page for me. 581 OPS. It's like an under. It's like an 098 ISO, I think. Maybe even worse against right-handed pitching. Like they're horrific.
This is like what's the saying? The immovable force versus the whatever. This is the movable force versus the just like stationary object.
Sure.
Right? Like this is too bad sides of the art. Like, yeah, I guess somebody has to win out.
Bad pitching or bad hitting? What's
worse? Yeah, one of them will be worse. So from that perspective, like I get it, but like Bryce Wilson's not going to go deep enough into this game, especially he's just he's been used as a reliever.
Yeah,
Kasperius is also going to be the same, not going to go deep into this game. So like. You can't even use either. They're not even usable.
You're not going to use Sears or Rocker in that game at a 10 total, right? Bowden and Francis, we've seen Houston's offense start to come to life. They got to Bassett and Gossman, who've been really good. Hat tip to Boyd just because like he's a decent pitcher, but
he was getting a lot of ownership this morning, by the way. A lot. I could not believe how much ownership he was getting.
Mookie Betts is struggling. Otani's striking out a ton. If you basically don't throw to Will Smith or Tommy Edman today, like maybe
Will Smith not in the lineup today.
Even better, right? So like Boyd, it wouldn't shock me if Boyd went out there today and threw like a quality start 6-inning outing with like 5 Ks.
The back half of the Dodgers lineup today, John, is and we've talked about this. Doesn't matter because if like Otani, Edman. Freeman, Homer.
It doesn't matter. Homer, it doesn't matter. Exactly.
Doesn't matter. But Pages, who's been their 9-hitter all year, hitting 6th. Conforto 7th, lefty. Miguel Rojas 8th. Austin Barnes 9th. So if Boyd navigates top half, key being if, I get it.
Yep. Trash Gamer says Festa isn't good as his stats show and wants to know why Webb is projected so much more than Peralta. Probably a little bit more just matchup based here. Obviously Logan Webb, we kind of went about it during the preview show, but to dive more deeper into it, he's an elite ground ball pitcher, doesn't give up a lot of fly balls, and now he's adding high upside strikeout potential to his run here. The Brewers, their offense, has some good lefty bats, but we're not really concerned about that power against Logan Webb, a guy that doesn't give up a lot of home runs, just doesn't give up a lot of contact in general. So on the flip side, you look at San Francisco, and they have a bunch of lefties in their lineup. They have a lot of guys that are hitting the ball really well right now as well. So, it just feels like Webb is a safer play than Freddie Peralta. But we do like Freddie Peralta. You're just not getting the inning longevity out of him that you probably need to really hit the ceiling. So, again, he dominated Kansas City. Righties do that this year. So,
yep. Yeah, I mean, they both obviously are pitching in elite park, and they both can generate strikeouts. But one
he's a
guy,
fine pivot if you're not in on Webb at that price, and save $200 and play Peralta and get half the ownership on him. So,
yeah, at the end of the day, though, you said it correctly. Logan Webb is more consistently pitching beyond the sixth than Freddie Peralta, and he just has the greater ceiling floor combination that.
Yeah.
So, you're right in a lot of senses. He is a good pivot, but Logan Webb definitely feels safer.
Great. Anybody else you want to discuss a position?
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's go to catcher, where we discussed, right? Carson Kelly is now the most expensive catcher on the slate. There was a point in time earlier this year where we just said, okay, we're going to the Cubs because both he and Amaya were under $3,000. That is no longer the case. They're like the two most expensive catchers on the slate. So do you find yourself on this one looking to spend up at catcher, or is there a value catcher that you'd be looking to play today?
I do over 4K or at 4K. I've said it to you for the last couple of days. Salvador Perez has been statistically the most unlucky hitter in baseball. So I do think that that's going to turn around against a bad pitcher, or just turn around in general. So I would go there. I think Jonah Heim 38 makes sense. Ryan Jeffers has also had a lot of unlucky at-bats. I think the Twins look awesome on this slate. Yanier Diaz at 3,100. We thought there were signs of life, kind of tailed off again. I'll say it repeatedly. I just have a hard time believing he's a 155 hitter, but hitting sixth against a very fastball-heavy pitcher in Bowden Francis, I like that quite a bit. If you're attacking David Festa, I mean, Cuero hitting fourth, he's been really good since getting called up. And even in a scenario that you're using Festa, you could just punt Cuero because it hasn't necessarily translated to this otherworldly game breaking. He just has a bunch of productive outings. So if he doubles and walks today and gets you 7 fantasy points at 2,600, hitting fourth, you could get away with using him and Festa. Or if you want to fade Festa, Cuero's obviously been good. So, and I know you love punting the Freddie Fermin, which I agree with as well.
Sure. I mentioned punting with Furman before. I think there's some upside there. All right, first base then. Again, guys are up at the top. Last night we full stacked that Texas and Athletics game. It certainly didn't disappoint for the most part. Soderstrom was a disappointment there. Do we go back to the well? Is it just, as I mentioned before, a plug of Kurtz and move on? How are we approaching first base today?
Yeah, it's funny. Nobody's playing Nick Kurtz. Not a soul.
I wonder if we won't get, I guess, an official lineup in time before roster lock on this one. So I was curious if maybe if he was in the lineup that would change, but makes it even more appealing that he is under rostered here.
I think it's also probably there's a lot of people going to Soderstrom. Not a lot, but he's 1/6 the ownership of Soderstrom, who has the league lead in home runs. So it does, I guess, make sense. I mean, I think there's plenty of guys you can spend up on, and if you don't in cash games, Nick Kurtz at 1%, I don't think makes a lot of sense in his debut. But I like him. He's one of, you said it, he has the biggest power tool of all prospects in baseball upon getting called up. So, and they've already flatly said he's going to play every day when he gets called up.
I want to know where he's going to hit in the lineup, I think is the question, right? If they plug him like 3rd through 5th right away or something, like.
My guess is 5th. My guess is Butler, Rooker, Soderstrom, Langoliers, Kurtz. You break up the righty lefty and you're hitting Kurtz 5th.
Yeah.
But you're right. If they hit him 3rd, he's going to be his ownership is going to skyrocket. Because what games are there's only one game at 7. You should probably have that lineup post 7 p.m. So yeah, I mean, I'd go right back to the Soderstrom well. I know there's some good stuff underlying for Kumar Rocker, but that ballpark is terrible. So yeah, if you guys have any opinions on it, put it in the chat where you think
they
Kurtz
sent down Max
hit.
Muncy, by the way, to make the roster spot space there. So
I saw that. But yeah, Soderstrom looks great. Bush looks great against Kasparius.
I was gonna say, what about the Naylor Pavin Smith combo here? Now we don't often, we know the strikeout upside of Taj Bradley. We also know Taj Bradley is prone to home runs and just big explosions of games, right? Like he throws fastballs, he throws them in the zone. Sometimes those things get hit. You and I were talking about Pavin Smith yesterday and looking at the StatCast numbers. Just ridiculous numbers here from Pavin Smith. I was kind of looking at his StatCast page and his baseball reference page. He was the 7th overall pick all the way back in 2017. So, there's a nice top 10 early first round pedigree. He's been platooning since kind of entering the major leagues and finally getting an opportunity to be an everyday player, and he's not missing. So I'm with you. Both Naylor had a decent game last night. Pavin Smith had the bigger game. I'm fine going with either of those two. Always can play Cubbies in Chicago. Bush is really off to a great start there as well. Those are your spend ups. Like I said, in the mid range, Kurtz is where I would look to go. Where else would you potentially look to put some first baseman in your lineups?
The ownership on Vinny Pasquantino just tells you all you need to know about what people think of Herman Marquez, because he has been atrocious and no signs of even like a turnaround either. Like there's no anything underlying that Pasquantino's just been terrible.
The Royals have the highest implied run total, tied with the Rangers today. So again, the second highest. The Twins have the highest run total. So as bad as Kansas City's offense has been, like to your point, people are projecting them to do very well today against Marquez.
Yep. Yeah, and the Rockies bullpen, right? Like it's just a combination of like what's to come even after Marquez. I get it. The price is good. It's a good hitting environment when gaps are shot, right? Like it's just the ball rolls forever in that outfield. But it's just something that I'm comfortable not playing. And if it beats me, it beats me, and I move on to the next day. Like if I play a one-off Bobby Witt, I play a one-off
Angels
Bobby
lineup,
Witt.
And Jorge Soler is your leadoff hitter.
Are they giving Taylor Ward a day off? No,
nope. They have Ward hitting cleanup.
Is that just to maximize Soler at bats against a lefty?
Maybe. Soler, Nato, Trout, Ward, Darno. So Noah Hoppy today. Darno, Shenuel, Rengifo, Paris, and Adele is that lineup. They got Jorge Soler leading off.
Traditional leadoff hitter, Jorge Soler.
Yeah, traditional leadoff hitter, Jorge Soler. Interesting. Might as well just lead off Mike Trout if you're going to do that. I mean, I don't know.
Something. It's something. It's definitely a interesting approach. But you know what? Ron Washington, interesting guy. So
for sure. All right. So Kurtz is there. I mentioned. I mean, I know he's a lefty, but if Josh Smith is in the lineup again, this guy
guy's a dog. He's a dog.
He's unstoppable right now at that price tag. Berger, we talked. I mean, again, we talked about this just last night, right? Osvaldo Bido, and we were 6 stacking the Rangers for a reason. We knew that guy was just going to get smoked. Jake Berger finally homered should continue to, if he can hit fly balls in that ballpark, he's going to have a really good shot at hitting home runs. So it's got JP Sears. It's got the lefty matchup for Jake Berger. When this guy in the past couple of years with the White Sox and with the Marlins was not a $2,700 first baseman, he was like a $3,700 to $4,300 first baseman, right? Like the 30 plus homer upside. So if that home run last night and the ballpark just continues to play the way it's played all season long, and you want to get your Rangers stacks today against JP Sears, I like Berger there at $2,700.
Yeah, I'm looking at so last year left against lefties, Jake Berger 198 ISO. 2023 Jake Berger against lefties 323 ISO. Those are good numbers. 2022, John. 2022. Not a big sample, very small sample. 326 ISO against lefties for Jake Berger. There's been a track record. And I remember last night, I think probably right before the show, you're like, oh, that's gone. Oh, no, Jake Berger hit one to the wall. It was like 110 miles an hour. And then he homered later in the day. And then he homered later in the game. Very well could be looking at a guy 2,700 coming off a double dong, and he has a seriously long track record of just simply power against a guy where every ball is going like this. Everything JP Sears is hit in the air. I mean, it's like this is probably not the best spot for JP Sears to pitch in. Home.
Well, I don't think we're targeting JP Sears to play today. Not that we didn't even mention his name going over pitching. But this is certainly another day where it's like at the end of the day, I make my rosters like, oh man, I got 7 players in the A's Rangers game again.
It worked. It was what did I say? I said it was 9.5, right? It has not moved tonight. It has stayed firm at 9.5, but that is also the slate high.
Yeah.
So if you end up getting to a game stack or a Ranger stack again, and Jake Berger is 20, I mean, obviously, we're not going to have Seager here. My expectation is we wouldn't, at least,
but that was lefty, that's what
I would always play Seager. If I'm playing Ranger stack, I wouldn't care lefty, especially in this ballpark. But there's a good chance Berger's way up in the order from where he was last night against lefty.
Yeah, I mean, the catcher position, whether it's Heim or Higashioka against Sears, both of those guys can be played. We have Berger at 12% today. Third highest roster first baseman. I guess we'd see how that plays out. First baseman rostership is kind of weird, man.
Disgusting. It's disgusting.
Kevin Biggio.
Yeah, he's hitting 5th. I mean, that goes to show you the state of the.
Why am I not pitching Herman Marquez today if Kevin Biggio is the 5 hitter? Explain that one to me.
Well, that's the state of the Royals, right? Kevin Biggio hitting 5th is the state of the Royals. I mean, it is just bad. So I don't disagree. You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Gross ownership at first base here today. I like Berger a lot. Still feel like I want to get Kurtz in my lineup. The perils of being a single entry player.
Yes.
Gonna have to make that decision.
And Soderstrom. You have 3 guys in that one game that could all homer tonight.
Yeah, for sure. And Berger, they took away his third base eligibility, so you're just dealing with him at first, though. Soderstrom's one of those 2 guys are gonna get additional positional eligibility, though, right? Soderstrom might be playing the outfield or something.
Yeah, left. Yeah, they're gonna start using Soderstrom in left and DH, which obviously says they're gonna start playing Brooker more in left as well. Yeah. So they're just gonna be rotating constantly.
Second base ownership for that today. Again, it's Royals heavy, but we commented on Marcus Semien. It was the lowest he had hit in that lineup basically during his Rangers tenure. And sure enough, Osvaldo Bido did come through for us again. He went 2 for 3. He had a homer. He had 4 RBI. Marcus Semien is well past his prime at this point. But 20+% of the field is going there. So are we just full back in on the Rangers today?
No, I think this is a position that you could go away from chalk because Luke Keyshaw exists. at the same price. And I think Keyshaw hitting third.
Yeah, I said they put him right back. That's just his spot now.
Dude, that he is, he is the captain now. Hitting third, we've seen gap power. We've seen
2 stolen bases yesterday.
Yeah, 3 walks, 3 stolen bases. I mean, 3 runs scored. There has been basically nothing other than him hitting a home run.
Which he won't do.
Which he won't. But players like this, if they're not hitting home runs, if they're running, doesn't matter, right? If he's hitting third at 3K at a bad position,
Warren said
I saw it out of the corner of my eye. I just gotta put my water bottle just like in the way of the chat so I don't see this. I'm definitely playing Luke Keyshaw now just to spite everyone.
I'm super curious to see what do you think the BVP sample size is? Because they do play in the same division, so this isn't going to be like a 5AB thing. What do you think the BVP sample size is?
8 for 21 with 3 home runs or something like
that. Close. 6 for 22 with 2.
6. So
5 games. 5 games.
6 of 22.
Yeah. All he did was hit 2 homers. That's basically what he's 270 with 2 homers.
Look, I don't think Semion's a bad play. He probably shifts up in the lineup with no Seager. Unless they just want to keep him there, right? And they just move like Adolis up and they move Berger up or whatever they decide to do. But I do think that there's a obvious pivot.
They won't hit Josh Smith leadoff again with a lefty on the mound. They could just move Semien right back to the leadoff spot.
Yeah, they could. That's also true. I think Semien is fine. I think Keyshaw is also an elite pivot for half the ownership.
And then he can play in the outfield, but we got a lefty on the mound. We have Tommy Edman, who wasted no time,
dude,
homering off of Shota yesterday.
You don't know this. There's like a part of SpongeBob, because we've talked about this before. You don't do SpongeBob. I appreciate that. I appreciate that, Mohawk Justin Carlucci. I appreciate that. There's a SpongeBob. Where he suddenly gets like a bodybuilder, and then there's another one where his arms are sagging to the ground. Okay. When Edman is hitting from the left side, he's the bodybuilding SpongeBob, and when he's hitting from the right side, his arms just sag to the ground. Okay. And he can't lift the bat. He's dragging the bat to the He's basically, how about this? Did you ever play backyard baseball?
Sure.
He's Pablo Sanchez from the right side, and he's Pete Wheeler from the left side.
Okay.
You know?
Sure.
Which I like Pete Wheeler, but he's no Pablo Sanchez. Come on. So yeah, this guy.
We went over. He's had over 300 ISO this year versus lefties. He had like an over 400 ISO in a very small sample size. Like last year versus lefties.
And 200 every year. And 200 every other year.
And then like right away, like I think it might have been Justin or Keith in our chat yesterday. Like right away, it's like Edman immediately pays off.
Yeah, I think
like,
Keith
said Keith Cubs fan, right? So he was just like immediately.
Edman, oh my God. I think it was like Edman, oh my God. Edman, are you serious?
Yeah. So you can play Tommy Edman for sure. You can also play him in the outfield, obviously. Fitzgerald has been hot, but it's righty matchup for that. Julian's leading off. Yep. If you want to go there over Keyshaw, but we've kind of been all in on. I've definitely been all in on Keyshaw since he was called up, and I've hopefully you guys have learned and tuned in and taken advantage of that as well. All right, anything else at second base?
No, I do think that Julian pivot is worth something to explore. A lot of unlucky stuff on the Edouard Julien front. His numbers against righty, John, this year, 140 ISO, 258 expected ISO, 287 WOBA, 366 expected WOBA. Like monster expected numbers that just haven't translated. We know the one thing he does is hit home runs against righty.
He's a very streaky hitter. It's one of the reasons he got sent down at one point last year too. So if you catch the hot streak for him, you can. My dream is eventually like Keyshaw leads off, but
dude, he's hitting third. What do you mean? Keep
Reading Brooks lead us start getting better luck, and they work their way around. All right, third base. Edmund has been on fire, says our guy Justin here. Michael Garcia is just getting ownership with the dual positional eligibility again. Everybody's just all in on Kansas City, which presents opportunities to potentially build your lineup in different directions. Renhefo is getting over 10%. Josh Young is getting around 10% as well in the value range. Where are you looking to go with there today?
Yeah, it's a pretty gross position. Junior Caminero at 4,300 against a lefty. Erod hasn't been perfect. He's been good, but he hasn't been perfect. It is obviously worth noting the Maikel Garcia leadoff thing because he's been not leading off. It's been Jonathan India. And this is a guy who stole a boatload of bases last year while hitting like 220. And he's actually hitting. Everything basically not Garcia or Bobby Witt, their batting average starts with a 1, right? Like basically everybody else. Maybe not Drew Waters. I think Drew Waters is hitting like 300. But everyone else is. I get the Maikel Garcia. Like if you want to just play him and Witt or just Garcia because Witt's too expensive, like you could do that. So I think Caminero and Garcia for me over 4K. I don't hate Paredes hitting third. Renhefo, definitely a little less appealing now that he's moved down in the lineup and they're hitting him because the expectation was second for Renhefo.
Yeah, they got him hitting 7th today.
Yeah, got him hitting 7th. So the little meat left on the bone there. Like Josh Young, like Josh Smith, I think you could play either of the Texas guys depending, where they're hitting in the lineup and whatnot.
Josh Young obviously is cooled down, but he got super unlucky with Jock Peterson hitting in front of him yesterday. Yeah. Twice Peterson ended an inning with like 2 men on base. If it had just been an opportunity where Josh Young could get up with men on base, maybe he would have been pitched to differently instead of leading off innings, which obviously didn't help him. But he's obviously cooled off since his initial return from the injured list here.
Yeah, and he's too good and too cheap. He's just always injured, but he's not injured right now. So I would definitely take
and it's the right split, right? We use him it's a righty because of the fly ball rate, but he has always been in his limited playing time a lefty masher there.
It's only 12 plate appearances. Expected ISO 438 against lefties is just crazy.
And then there's Brooks Lee, who you pointed out to me this morning. Again, one of the most unlucky hitters. His expected WOBA is supposed to be like over 400.
Over 400, yep.
But he's hitting 140. So
there's not much to do but feel bad for players like that. And I'm assuming like with all the data we have, like there's somebody feeding that to like the staff and be
they didn't send him down yet. So
right. He's playing every day. I think Minnesota looks better than everybody else too.
Yeah, we also came to the conclusion that we're all the way back in on Minnesota.
Chips are in the middle.
For those of you who have been watching our shows long enough, we've been Team Minnesota for a while now.
We're back.
We're all the way back. Luke Keyshaw has reignited the Minnesota Flames.
Yeah, dude, it's all Luke Keyshaw. Thank you, Luke Keyshaw.
Yeah, and Bailey Ober at under $7,000.
True. Yeah, that's also a good point too.
All right, shortstop again. A rare slate where shortstop isn't as top heavy as it usually is. You have a Bobby Witt Jr., who, surprise to nobody, is getting the most ownership here by a significant amount. Because again, everybody's going up against German Marquez. Mookie Betts, who in the past has hit lefties extremely well, but is really struggling right now at 59. You have Bichette and Perdomo up here. I'm not really as interested in this top group at all. If you're not playing Heaney, I think Nato hitting second today, given his history against lefties, is something worth exploring. And then I would go with Correa or just Jacob Wilson, who I can just feel like I can just rely on to get on base 2 to 3 times a game.
Yeah, he does get on base a lot. You're obviously good just one-offing Witt, right? Like if it comes down to it, like is that the most comfortable?
I mean, at this position, sure. I mean, we don't know Seager yet. If Seager would play, I would just play Seager. I just don't think he's going to play today.
I don't think he plays either because the injury concern. JP Sears, oh boy, against lefties has been super bad. It's a super, super, super small sample. I mean, teams are clearly just loading right-handers against him this year, but really bad against the limited lefties that he's faced. And Corey Seager's also been really good against lefties, so that it doesn't bother me if he plays. But I agree, I don't think he plays. Yeah, Gusto's been terrible against lefties, so like I like Bichette, but not in love with it there. Love NATO against a lefty, but you already profiled how good Heaney's been.
Yeah.
Jeremy Pena, great position in the lineup. Like it is a nice number 4. I like same thing with Correa. Like I like where Correa is hitting in the lineup. I agree on your Jacob Wilson call.
You can play
There's
obviously
not a
Lee.
lot.
You can play Lee here. Just to comment on the weather, we obviously are aware that it could the rain could certainly be impacting this game here. So it's certainly you kind of have to pay attention to it, which is another reason why, like, if all the chalk is on this Kansas City team and that game gets delayed or starts and then gets delayed, or they only go 5, like that's a huge bonus for you. If that game gets washed out and everybody's locking in to 20+% of a game. We were talking about updates coming to that weather report. Again, our friend over there, Kevin Roth, does everybody's go-to DFS weatherman, adjusted his rating just a short minute ago. Now yellow-orange, thinks it's going to look more fairly likely that rain will move in during the game around first pitch. He does say that the rain will fade away as the evening moves on. So there could be a late start, lengthy delay is what he says is potentially in the cards tonight. But obviously they could postpone as well. So something to make sense there for, right? Like Jay's saying here. Yeah, I mean, we're aware of the weather. We've kind of mentioned it at the top of the show. It's something that you guys are going to have to be aware of as well. Get closer to 7 o'clock and see where we're at. That game's supposed to be at 7:40. Hopefully, Kansas City and that team will do the right thing and either announce a delay. Otherwise, you're going to have to make some tough decisions with your lineup. And maybe that just depresses ownership and it all does shift to this Rangers-A's game instead. So something to, again, just kind of keep in mind there.
Yeah, and as we've said throughout this show, Kansas City is the highest rostered offense of the night, and Michael Lorenzen is the 4th highest rostered pitcher of the night. So, like, that's going to hurt a lot of things. Okay, Oakland lineup. Nick Kurtz is not leading off. He is not hitting 9th. He is not hitting 3rd or 4th or 5th or 6th. So there's 3 spots.
Well, we had our guy in the chat say he's projected to hit 7th, Anthony, here. So
2nd, 7th, or 8th. Or do you believe Anthony in the YouTube chat? Salute to you, Anthony.
No? He seems informed. I'll trust Anthony.
I wish I had a ding, 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 ding button, but Nick Kurtz will be hitting 7th in his debut behind Jacob Wilson. The future is 6-7 in the Athletics lineup.
Jacob Wilson gets on base. Nick Kurtz drives him in. There you go. That's I wanted Wilson to lead off, so our guy to be able to drive him in some runs. There you go. That doesn't really impact me all that much. I'd still play him. I don't really care where he hits in the lineup. If he hits a home run at 7, he hits a home run at 7. That's what you're playing him for. You're playing him for the home run. So I'm good still playing the $3,500 Nick Kurtz there.
35.
All right, let's go to outfield where, again, you can pretty much play any of the top guys you want. I don't even think there'd be one that Choreo, right? Choreo would be the one guy where you didn't really want to play going up against Webb.
Yep.
I don't know. I got nothing else.
I don't have much to add. I mean, Kyle Tucker's as good as anyone in baseball. Shohei Ohtani is Shohei Ohtani. Corbin Carroll is Corbin Carroll. I'm not trying to sound like a broken record, but we say this all the time. Pick your player, pick your stack, add player, add stack.
Cover of
win
today's
millions
playbook
or thousands.
Is Byron Buxton.
I like it. I mean, I've said it all show. I think the Twins look amazing today.
And if the rain's going to impact Kansas City, maybe ownership pivots down to Minnesota today. Highest implied run total on the board.
Yeah, I mean they look good. Buxton, I
Is actually
think,
your highest
yeah, he
rostered
hit
outfielder
second.
today. So,
Buxton is the highest
yep.
rostered outfielder. I mean, and it's funny that like it doesn't correlate. Like he correlates so perfectly with
$3,000
Keyshaw.
Keyshaw hitting third, $4,600 Byron Buxton hitting second.
And Buxton is significantly higher owned at a much deeper position. I find that funny. You know, like the 2, 3, 4 couldn't look
Yeah,
better for Minnesota, and only one of them is getting like
agreed.
any type of ownership. Not to say Buxton doesn't look good even at high ownership. He does. He looks great at high ownership. I do find stuff like that funny. Like Keyshaw looks as good, if not better, than Marcus
I
Semien.
know we're afraid of like the Dodgers bullpen, I
And
guess, but like nobody's. Justin Turner is your highest rostered Cub today at 11%. Yeah, Ian Happ
yeah,
coming off of a big game, leading off. You have Kyle Tucker, like we talked about. PCA's looked really good. Michael Busch obviously has looked good, but you got a Cubs lineup who has been hanging up double-digit run totals here. In their home ballpark today. Maybe some interest there for you.
yeah. I mean, we've talked. Didn't we have this exact
Probably.
discussion yesterday? Not about this specific thing,
We
or
talked low roster Dodgers the
whenever.
other day, where I was like, it might have been Dodgers versus Shota. I was like, no one's going to play the Dodgers. They're a team
It
that
was
could
Dodger versus Shota
lead the
yesterday.
slate
Yeah,
in runs scored tonight, right?
I I think the discussion was somebody brought up. Well, it might have been the night that you just were like, "Nah, I'm not working. I don't care." Carlucci worked for me. I think because we all know you don't
You're
care
talking
about
about what I didn't do the live
your
show
job.
yesterday.
Yeah. Yeah. Was that yesterday? That was literally yesterday. Oh man, it feels like 3 days ago. I don't even know what day it is, honestly. We were talking about, maybe it was Monday, where someone said like, "Oh well, if the Tigers don't get to Randy Vasquez, they have to deal with that tough bullpen." But like, if the offense gets to Kasparius, you don't
Right,
see Tanner Scott, and you don't see the top arms in the bullpen because they're not coming
right.
in down 5 runs like that. So if Hap Tucker go back to back to start this game, I know that they say it got scratched, so they updated their lineup. Justin Turner is hitting third, which is
Okay.
why that is the case. Say it got scratched, Turner third, Bush fourth, Swanson fifth,
I
Horner
like that
sixth,
significantly less. I like Seiya
PCA.
in those lineups, but
Yeah, yeah. I mean, say
yeah.
leaving the lineup doesn't make it feel great. Justin Turner, what is the Justin Turner price? He's 2,900 first and third. Tough position to begin
Ownership
with
could
to
be there
get
just
to
because
Justin
third kind of
Turner.
sucked.
It did. It did. You also had Josh Young, so like they probably split the like value ownership down there. But like that only comes into play if
Yeah,
Kasparius pitches well, right? Because then if he doesn't, that doesn't matter because you won't see Tanner Scott in this game. Not that it mattered. He didn't close the game out yesterday, but yeah, I'm perfectly fine getting to Tucker. Obviously, the Justin Turner thing does make it a
sure.
little worse, but he's obviously affordable hitting third,
Um,
$2,900.
I mentioned Solaire's leading off, and now Ward's hitting cleanup. So, like both of those guys against a lefty again, Heaney's been really good. So there's that. Solaire is a guy that has a lot of ISO, a lot of home run upside against left-handed pitching. So Wyatt Langford's your second highest roster outfielder today. He homered as part of just that onslaught of Texas last night.
What didn't he do yesterday? What didn't he do yesterday?
Yeah, nothing. 3 hits, a homer, and a full base. He's a talented player, which is good
Yes.
because we have his autograph rookie card that we need to gain value right here.
I like sometimes dude, I hope one day, because like obviously like you reach into like, if people didn't know, John lives in outer space. So like he reaches into the abyss when he grabs his cards. Like, I want you one day. You're just gonna like pull
Out of
out like
75, Bobby Witt
Aaron
Jr. just
Judge
sitting right here.
rookie. Yeah, I mean that's like that's what we're talking about. Like the Abyss needs to send you some of those. Like, holy cow, you know?
My desk is
Like
covered.
not Jeremy
My desk
Lamb
is
rookie
covered
card
with
or
cards,
whatever.
so I can't really. I showed you the
I love
Mookie Betts auto
the Bobby Witt.
I got there. You know?
Yep. On the LA
Here's
LA
a Juan
team.
Soto rookie card, gold auto. Yeah.
Ooh, we're now the Abyss is taught. The Abyss is spitting out the
out
goods
here.
right there.
All right. So Wyatt Langford and his value of increasing the value of the cards that I have. Really good play. Anthony Watson
Really good player.
is Peralta the right choice on FanDuel? Not for me, Anthony, because you need quality starts. You got quality start points. Play Webb.
Yes.
Gonna go 7 innings in this game.
Yes. Yes. Logan Webb is definitively better on FanDuel.
Talk Tommy Edman already. Value range. Anything else for you, I guess, as we work our way down the 4K and under tier?
Let's see. So I think Santander is gonna hit a home run today. Ryan Gusto is really bad against lefties. I know Santander is not hitting home runs.
The Blue Jays in general? Like George Springer's kind of affordable, hitting cleanup. Lefties.
The righties are pretty bottled down against Gusto. He has also had a 32% strikeout rate against them. Lefties, he has an 8% strikeout rate. So 32 and 8, big discrepancy there. 304 ISO, 388 expected ISO, 442 WOBA, 466 expected WOBA for Ryan Gusto. I understand it's a small sample. I also understand that Santander has not been great. That guy has also hit like 40 home runs in 3 straight years. So you think that he's not going to just because he went and got the bag in Toronto? No, he is going to hit home runs. And the Gusto spot is the one that I think he's going to do it. So I like at 4K him and Adolis.
Larnach hitting cleanup $2,900. Then Pajes is up to 6th tonight, hitting at $2,900.
Yes. Elite value, both of them. I think Larnach looks better, but I think there's no wrong answer either. Both of them.
Anything else for you in the outfield today?
I mean, I'll just say it because I'm also like not playing David Festa. So like Joshua Palacios is leading off in the year 2025. Mark asked what year it is. Yeah. It's 2025, Mark. And Joshua Palacios is leading off in the year 2025. At least I think it's 2025 because you apparently weren't on the live stream yesterday.
I wasn't. It was Monday.
No.
Monday I was not on the live stream.
It was Monday. Dude, so you're wrong here. Well, you're telling me that it was yesterday. I wasn't on the live stream yesterday. I wasn't on the live yesterday. I didn't even know that until
you were the one not on the live yesterday. That's correct.
Yes. I was the one. Yes. Yeah, he's leading off. That's all I got. I don't have much to add there. He is hitting leadoff.
He is the brother of Richie Palacios, if you didn't know that. So
he is. Richie famously for the goggles. Joshua famously
leading off tonight against
leading off tonight against David.
Famous for leading off.
Yes.
Logan Webb.
So Lorenzen a little bit in flux here, no? Yeah. Like and
we can't even go to Marquez because the same rating is there. So
I know you so badly want to play Herman Marquez. You were going.
I was thinking about it. All right, so if we go Erod here, then we double spend because you're not on Festa. You're fading the Festa chalk.
I am perfectly. I like David Festival. Every 5th day we have a festival, but like $8,800. No.
All right.
If he has 14 fantasy points tonight, $8,800.
We'll play the punt Quero then the other side of that matchup.
Let's go. I love where your brain's at. You're clicking on all cylinders.
Gotta go Keyshaw.
Yeah, we're just all rookie. We're an all rookie offense right now. Want to just keep it going? Just
not particularly, but I don't think there's an option for us at third outside of.
No, we don't go all rookie. Yeah, we just Josh Young,
shortstop.
Bob, I feel better about the bats than I
rain?
would in rain than I mean, because if a game is delayed, the pitchers are dead, the bats are not.
So you want to spend up at short today and not the outfield?
Yeah, I guess we could. Well, Langford,
I was going to do, I guess, Langford. Well,
Buxton,
Edmund.
or
Yeah, Edmund versus
Larnack.
lefty.
And then either Larnack or
right. So we did Bobby here, 4K. Bucks is too expensive. You mean you have your home run call with Santander if you want to one off him. Could do Adolis.
Or I like Adolis. I would play any home run.
Brandon says Durbin for third. He is your boy. You are a Durbin guy. Are you a Durbin guy against Logan Webb, though, is the question.
He is a fine talent at all 5'4" of him, but he is not going to make my player.
Example lineup. Logan Webb, Eduardo Rodriguez, Cuero, Kurtz, Keyshaw, Young, Witt, Langford, Edmund, Garcia. And then if there's rain and you can't play Bobby Witt Jr., you pivot. You go down to like NATO.
Yes, you do. You pivot. You do not take the zero.
You're down to NATO. You go off Adolis, $6,000. Play Trout or O'Neill Cruz against Kahanowitz.
Yeah. Or not say it because he's not playing.
What? Or not say it. Yeah, not say it. He's not playing.
Or not say it because he's not playing.
Something like that. So you can make it all happen for you. All right. We appreciate you tuning in. Go check out Carlucci's playbook. He wrote 2,000 words for all of you guys there today to get you ready for it.
How would you get that? I heard you can get that playbook
you can get it for free if you go to fantasystorm.com/win. Use promo code Let's Go. Check it out for free. Sign up. Get in that Discord. Talk to us in there as well. Ownership is live. We have that on site for you guys to go check out there. Projections and all the good stuff over at Fantasy Alarm. We appreciate you tuning in. No live show tomorrow, everybody, because it is just early slate baseball. We will have a playbook out. We'll have the preview show out tonight, but we won't be back live until Friday. So get your questions on the comment section of our preview show later tonight, and we will catch you guys later.